I believe alien life is quite common in the universe, although intelligent life is less so. Some say it has yet to appear on planet Earth. Ha 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 ha.
Close your eyes and imagine you turn on the TV in the morning to watch the news. You sap through the channels. Weirdly, all channels show the same broadcast. While you are still sleepy, you try to pay a little more attention. You slowly register what the news is trying to tell you. You are in disbelief. The biggest news in human history. Aliens are coming to invade Earth. Okay, open up your eyes again. What did you see? How did the aliens look? How did their spaceship look? Maybe like this, or like this, or maybe like this. If you said yes to any of those, then Hollywood did a good job. Why is that? Because for most people, when they think of aliens, they imagine exactly how Hollywood has been depicting aliens for the last 80 years. You already guessed it. Today's episode will ask the question, are aliens real? And what is going on with all those recent government reports on UFOs, now referred to as UAPs? Interested? Well, luckily for you, all you have to do is sit back and watch. But first... Okay, before we dig deeper, let's first establish when modern humans collectively first invited the alien concept into our everyday culture. It all started with the first science fiction books. In my opinion, we should mention H.G. Wells's novel The War of the Worlds, written in 1898. Widely considered one of the first sci-fi novels that depicts aliens. There is a lot to talk about Wells alone, but we don't want this video to be an hour long, so we concentrate only on the most spicy content. Let me introduce you to this man. Any guesses who he is? If you said Aleister Crowley, you get 10 points for Gryffindor. So what's so special about this guy? Honestly, there is a lot to write about him. We could make dozens of videos about him and still haven't covered his life entirely. So I'll give you a quick rundown on aspects of his life relevant to this video. To make it easy, I asked ChatGPT. Here is what they had to say about him.
Aleister Crowley, 1875-1947, was a controversial British occultist, writer, and ceremonial magician. Known as the Great Beast 666, he founded the religious philosophy of Thelema, advocating personal freedom and the pursuit of one's true will. Crowley's influence extends into modern occultism, literature, and popular culture.
I think he might be the most unknown, influential person of the last century. There are a plethora of modern references to him, from the Beatles displaying him on their album cover. Jimmy Page, guitarist of Led Zeppelin, bought and occasionally lived in Aleister Crowley's former house on the shores of Loch Ness in Scotland. Even the Red Hot Chili Peppers reference him in their songs. Okay, that is all interesting, but I thought you would keep it short. Well, this is kind of important to understand how influential this guy was. Okay, but how is he relevant to the alien topic? Well, it turns out he is solely responsible for imagining how aliens should look like. He believed he was a magician.
You're a wizard, Harry.
And liked to channel deities in his free time. One of the deities he channeled was this creature, called Lamb. Even though Crowley never said Lamb was an alien, the resemblance is striking. If modern humans think of the Greys, their depiction is based on Crowley's Lamb. My personal problem with channeling isn't about questioning the existence of higher entities, but rather noticing how the channeled entity often reflects the prevailing zeitgeist of the individuals channeling it. For instance, there was a lot of channeling going on throughout Nazi Germany. Coincidentally, they always channeled some Aryan overlord. Do you see where I'm going with this? Okay, that's odd, but is there more to Crowley than just that picture of the prototype alien? I'm glad you asked. As I said, we could keep talking for hours, but for now let us concentrate on one of Crowley's better friends. This is Jack Parsons, famous for inventing solid rocket fuel. He is also known to be a founder of JPL, the Jet Propulsion Laboratory in Pasadena, closely tied to Caltech and NASA. He was a renowned scientist back in the day.
Crowd goes wild! Nobel! Nobel!
Some people even joke that JPL stands for Jack Parsons Laboratory. But he was also a vivid occultist and was very close with Aleister Crowley. In fact, Crowley liked him so much, he appointed him to be the North American director of his new religion. Jack Parsons was so deep into occultism, he went into the Mojave Desert to perform some kind of sex magic. Isn't that odd? A man of science and highly respected by other rocket scientists believes in such things. Even more paradox is that another friend of Jack Parsons was L. Ron Hubbard. Yes, the guy who invented Scientology. They were best friends until L. Ron Hubbard took off with his girlfriend. It seems to me, whenever we are talking about influential people, the world gets smaller. And why is a lot of the alien narrative coming from a few people in Southern California? I mean, Hollywood is not far from Pasadena. To me, it's also suspicious that the alien narrative started a little more than 100 years ago. Sure, there were ancient depictions of otherworldly entities coming from the stars, but the little grey man is at most 100 years old. Most of humanity's past, we believed in angels and demons or other spirits. Now we believe in aliens. For me, it kind of feels like the point I was trying to make when I was talking about the problem I have with channeling. We tend to draw upon our own framework and belief systems. A good example was the Arizona Lights in 1997. This was one of the largest UFO sightings ever. Interestingly enough, the movie Independence Day came out shortly before. People who didn't watch the movie thought they were seeing signs of God, and people who did see the movie thought they witnessed UFOs. We are not arguing the existence of unexplainable events and apparatuses, but I am not sure if I fully subscribe to the alien narrative, especially after I learned who created said narrative. So why is the American government disclosing more and more information about UFOs? That is a very good question, and in short, we don't have a definitive answer, but that won't stop us from speculating. In my opinion, the most important question is, are those UFOs actually aliens? Or does our collective upbringing just automatically jump to the alien conclusion? Also, we should ask ourselves, why now? Why does the American government feel the need to disclose UFOs at this time? I mean, if we believe the government, and that is usually a bad idea, they were noticing UFOs decades ago. So, what changed? The second most important question is, why are the aliens always in cahoots with our shady governments? If they are truly an advanced civilization from a different planet, why would they concentrate all their focus on some money-hungry career politicians? If I were a betting man, I would put my money on something closely, like what Tucker Carlson said on Joe Rogan's podcast.
But the core idea does not differ, never has differed from caves until now, that we're being acted on by spiritual forces at all times. And so to someone born before or living before 1945, I think it would have been much more obvious that this is the thing that every society has written about. And in fact, that battle, that unseen battle around us, that spiritual battle, has been the basis of every society, of every religion, not just Christianity. So it just, once you discard your very, very recent assumptions, relatively speaking, about how the world works, you're like, well, that kind of seems like the obvious explanation, right?
I have absolutely no proof, but my gut tells me the government is using this ancient phenomena as a vehicle to push a certain agenda. To summarize, I am suspicious of the entire alien narrative since it has its beginnings in some New Age, esoteric circles. Furthermore, I am suspicious of anything the government tells us, and the motivation aliens would have flying around Earth without any real apparent goal, except if they were here to watch us. Like the zoo hypothesis, but then why would they show themselves at all? The more I think about it, I get the feeling that aliens and angels might be the same thing. I know this is a wild thesis, but what do you think? Do you absolutely believe in our governments? Or do you think there is something else going on in the shadows? If you enjoyed this video, please consider liking the video and subscribing. But for now, we wish you an eye-opening week and see you at our next video.